In the bustling streets of an African town, there was a popular food vendor known simply as Mama Nkechi. Her tiny food stall was the heart of the market. Every day, a sea of people gathered around, jostling and shouting for their turn to taste her irresistible delicacies. From early morning until the sun dipped below the horizon, her stall was alive with the chaos of customers scrambling to buy her food. Mama Nkechi, I beg, give me jollof rice and add plenty meat. A man in a blue Agba shouted, trying to push ahead in line. Make una queue na for everybody oh. Another woman retorted, holding tightly to her tray. Amid the frenzy, a peculiar sight was often seen. Some customers, desperate to eat her food, would even offer to wash plates in exchange for a plate of her rice and stew. Mama Nkechi, let me wash plates. Just give me small to taste, cried a young boy, clutching a stack of dirty plates. Mama Nkechi, an elegant woman in her 40s with a wide smile and a golden wrapper tied neatly around her waist, would laugh heartily and say, chop first, wash later. Everybody go chop, no worry. But behind Mama Nkechi's cheerful demeanor lay a dark secret that would shock the entire town when it came to light. Among the regulars at the stall was a woman named Ifunanya, a deeply religious woman who never failed to wear her cross necklace. Ifunanya was known for her kindness and her unwavering faith in God, always quoting scriptures wherever she went. But something about Mama Nkechi's food didn't sit well with her. One day, as she ate her plate of steaming jollof rice, she noticed an odd taste in the meat. It was tender yet strange, unlike any she'd had before. She leaned toward her friend Ada, whispering, "Does this meat taste different to you?" Ada, already halfway through her plate, shrugged. "Different how? This is the best meat I've ever eaten. You're always overthinking things, Ifunanya." But Ifunanya couldn't shake her suspicion. She decided to investigate. The next morning, Ifunanya returned to the stall, pretending to befriend Mama Nkechi. "Mama Nkechi, you're truly blessed. The way people flock to your stall, it must be God's hand in your life." Mama Nkechi laughed, her gold earrings glinting in the sunlight. "Ah, my sister Nagado, but also na small secrets for cooking. Nawetin they make my food sweet." "What kind of secrets?" Ifunanya pressed, her voice light but her mind racing. "Ah. You want collect my recipe?" Mama Nkechi teased, wagging her finger playfully. "No be everything mouth they talk." Undeterred, Ifunanya began observing Mama Nkechi's movements. For several nights she hid near the stall, watching as Mama Nkechi cleaned up. One night her patience paid off. Ifunanya saw Mama Nkechi hauling a suspicious sack into the back of the stall. The shape of the sack made her stomach churn. It looked disturbingly human. Unable to let her suspicions go, Ifunanya prayed fervently. "Lord, reveal the truth and use me as your instrument," she said, quoting Proverbs 15:3. "The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good." The next day, Ifunanya brought her pastor and some men from the church to confront Mama Nkechi. "Mama Nkechi," Ifunanya began, her voice steady but firm, "you call God's name, but what you are doing here is not of him. What is in that sack you always carry at night?" Mama Nkechi's smile faltered. "Sack? What sack? What are you saying, Ifunanya? I don't know what you're talking about." But the pastor stepped forward. "Mama Nkechi, if your hands are clean, then open the sack." A crowd gathered, murmuring in confusion. Mama Nkechi's eyes darted around as she tried to come up with an excuse. But before she could speak, Ifunanya shouted, "Open it! If you have nothing to hide, show us." Reluctantly, Mama Nkechi untied the sack. The moment the cloth fell away, gasps and screams erupted. Inside were bloody remains, bones, and flesh unmistakably human. "You've been feeding us human meat?" a man yelled, his face twisted in horror. "Mama Nkechi, you're a monster!" another woman screamed, clutching her child. Panicked, Mama Nkechi fell to her knees, sobbing. "It's not my fault. I didn't want to do it. The spirits demanded it," she wailed. Ifunanya stepped forward, holding up her cross. "The spirits, or your greed. God's word says in Galatians 6:7, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. You have reaped blood, and now you will face justice." As the crowd grew angrier, Mama Nkechi was dragged to the village chief. Her stall was torn down, and the police were called. Days later, the town was still in shock. No one could believe that Mama Nkechi, the beloved food vendor, had been using human meat to make her dishes. At the Sunday service following Mama Nkechi's arrest, Ifunanya addressed the congregation. "Let this be a lesson to all of us," she said. "The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but God's truth always prevail." The pastor nodded in agreement. "Let us not be deceived by outward appearances. Pray for discernment, for evil often wears the face of a friend." The congregation bowed their heads in prayer, grateful for the courage of one woman who trusted in God to expose the darkness. And as for Mama Nkechi, her name became a warning, a tale of greed, deceit, and the judgment that always follows. The moral lesson of this story is that evil may prosper for a time, but the truth always prevails, and those who harm others will face the consequences of their actions.